The Beyond storyline continues in Amazing Spider-Man. We got Scorched Issue 1, Rain Issue 1, and we also have the conclusion to Robin and Batman. All this and more on this week's episode of After the Poll. Hey, all my webheads out there, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0, and fans, I am your host, Mike Spider Slayer, always helping you make decisions of what comic books to buy, and today, guys, I'm bringing you an episode of After the Poll. This is the video series where each and every week, I go over with you some of the most highly anticipated comic books that I was looking forward to reading this week and seeing if they live up to the hype. So we got 6 books to talk about, looking forward to jumping into it. So before we get started, guys, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, which is MutantBeaverComics.com. Guys, they have over 1,000 exclusive comic book covers in their shop, including this brand new Mike Mayhew Edge of Spider-Verse facsimile edition. This one is absolutely gorgeous. So if you love these exclusive comic book covers, just go onto their website, MutantBeaverComics.com. You can use my promo code CORNER10. You can save 10% off of your entire purchase and future purchases after that. I'll leave the link in the description box below. All right, guys, so let's get started with this week's episode of After the Poll. Okay, webhead, so getting started with the first book today, we're going to kick it off with The Amazing Spider-Man. This is issue 85 as I continue to cover the Beyond storylines. This is chapter 11 of this whole thing, and these books have just not been very good, okay? It's just a rinse and repeat. Ben Reilly fighting the villain of the week, and then we just move on to the next character. You got Maxine Danger, who sits there constantly harping in Ben Reilly's ear going, you know what, if you keep failing, we're going to get rid of you, blah, 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 blah. So it's been the same thing. This was a 2-issue story arc. This one was done by Cody Ziegler, and Paco Mandina does the artwork. I said it last week, I think Paco Mandina's artwork is actually really good in this book, and I wouldn't mind him actually seeing him on the series on a regular basis. It might be that we're actually getting John Romita Jr. in the series starting in April. Not 100% sure on that. It's kind of been solicited, but you never know if it's just a one-shot, if he's just going to be the cover artist. We don't know. But overall, again, the artwork is pretty well done. There's some good action sequences here with Dr. Otto Octavius and Ben Reilly Spider-Man. So what did this story have to offer? Well, this was continuing after last week's issue where we got to see Dr. Octopus go after the top secrets of the Beyond Corporation, which he believes is built upon his secrets from Parker Industries when he was part of Superior Spider-Man, the company that he built, right? So he winds up getting those secret files. Ben Reilly is just like, I'm done with this. He gets all fueled with rage and anger, and he's like, oh, no more Mr. Nice Guy, and he starts beating the piss out of freaking Dr. Octopus in this issue. And basically Dr. Octopus is saying to him, you know, if you don't realize that you're being used here for the Beyond Corporation's greater good or whatever it is, then, you know, to benefit them, then you're just blind. So it really took Dr. Octopus to get Ben Reilly to second guess himself, going, yeah, why did they recruit me? Why am I part of this Beyond Corporation? So this issue had a little bit more meat to it, you know, and I think now the story is going to develop more. At least I'm being optimistic or positive about that. So we'll see where it goes from here. But it still kind of winds up ending up in the same, you know, realm or fashion that, you know, Ben Reilly reports to Maxine Danger at the end. Instead of her saying that you're a failure, she goes to him going, you know what, you were adequate this time, Ben. You know, so Ben Reilly's kind of upset. He's between both sides now. He doesn't know what to believe. Is Beyond Corporation using him, or you know, or should I just go out and go against them? So I guess he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. So this one was a little bit better, but still nothing great. All right, so the next book we're going to be talking about, Webheads, is the other weekly book coming out from DC Comics. This is Batman Detective Comics, issue 1048, that has to deal with the Arkham Tower. Now, I really enjoyed the first issue as we get to see this high-rise Arkham Asylum take shape in Gotham, and then it all goes south just under a month in its existence. And now, as a reader, you're kind of left wondering, well, how did everything go so wrong so fast, right? We got to see the lead doctor get thrown out of a window. We got to see this character by the name of, I think her name is Anna, who winds up going crazy, and I think is one of the ones that is, you know, causing all the problems, or maybe it's more villains. We just don't quite know yet. We're just beginning to scratch the surface here. So the artwork in this book is really great. I mean, check out the facial expressions when it comes to this book. The art is so detailed. Now, there wasn't a lot of action in this book, so there was a lot of setup, but you could appreciate the story here if you took your time and you read it. And what this story had to offer was the examination of the tower to find out, okay, why is all this stuff working, right? Because, you know, we saw all the bad things happen on day 27, and this is day 12, where things seem to be going okay with some of Gotham's ruthless villains, most dangerous villains, and they're all kept calm, and they're all kept in this basement, and everything is great and grand. And you see Batwoman again investigating this place, you know, posing as a person that's interviewing for a job, and she takes a tour with the lead doctor, and you just get to see everything that's happening as if you were walking alongside them. And I thought that was really well done. So you got to see all the inner workings. And the crazy thing here is, what I got out of it is, it doesn't seem like the lead doctor is up to funny business, but you wind up getting to see one of the characters. Her name was Anna, who wound up going crazy in the last issue. She smells something. So is there something in the air that turned these characters crazy all of a sudden? I don't know, but I just thought the inner workings of this book was absolutely beautiful, just to see how everything takes place. And I love seeing the investigative process between Oracle and Batwoman. I thought that was awesome, man. And I really enjoy this book. I don't know if people might be enjoying it as much as I am, but I just like seeing kind of the build up to get to this point of where everything went wrong, the demise of this Arkham Tower. I mean, shoot, they even wound up rehabilitating Mr. Freeze in this issue too. So again, it's Arkham's craziest. So we're trying to figure out the secrets here. So really good book. I definitely recommend this one. Okay, so the third book we're going to be talking about today is a highly anticipated one from me, and this is the Scorched Issue 1 done by Todd McFarlane. This is Todd McFarlane's like Avengers-esque type of team where we get all these Spawn characters together, and they're going to be doing missions, and it looks like this first mission wound up taking place in Russia. We got so many things that evolve around Russia. It's like no wonder Russia hates us. The artwork in this book, I'm not going to deny it, man. It is gorgeous. I love seeing it, but there is two different artists. One, artist in the first half, and then there's another artist in the second half. The first half of the book, I really enjoyed it the most, right? The second half is not as strong, but it wasn't bad either. So I liked it as well. So basically what this issue had to offer here was really the gathering of this team. You know, just like every origin story, you wind up getting the formation of this team, why they've come together, and they're basically on this mission in Russia to protect these two girls. Now, we don't really know the importance of these two girls per se quite yet, but they're very important. And so you wind up getting all these Spawn characters come together, and Spawn is not there. He's kind of just analyzing everything in the distance to see if this whole team up thing could actually work, which was kind of cool. And you wind up finding getting their base of operations, which I think is kind of cool. So that was neat. And again, just some of the interactions between the characters were okay. I thought the story could be a little bit better, but again, it was just mainly a formation of the team and just like a lot of action, you know, a lot of gore, just seeing all these characters or what they can do. Again, out of all the characters, out of all the spawns, my favorite is Gunslinger Spawn. I really am a fan of Jessica Priest. She Spawn. I think she's a pretty cool person. Could be a good leader for this team. And then I think I would have to give it to Medieval Spawn. I think those are my top three, not counting, you know, Al. So I'm looking forward to seeing the adventures of these characters and how every book distinguishes itself, because I think if you read all these Spawn books, it might be a little bit confusing. I'm not sure, but we'll see how this is different from all those other titles. Okay, book 4 that we're talking about today is a book that I definitely did not expect to say really like, but man, was I wrong. I loved Daredevil Woman Without Fear. For some reason, I thought, you know, oh, they're just doing this off of the popularity of the Daredevil book and people liked Elektra. And maybe that could be true, but I thought maybe this story could be a little bit more weak. But I was completely wrong, man. This book was awesome. The artwork in this issue was actually really good. You know, in the beginning, it's just very dark as Elektra, you know, comes into face to face with Wilson Fisk, and you get to see some great emotions between Elektra and Matt Murdock, and you can see the pain and the sadness in their eyes. Like, you can read that in this comic book. And the best thing about this book was learning the history about Elektra, who she trained with, whether it was Stick or the representative from the Hand. You always found yourself very intrigued and wanting to know more about Elektra's past. And that's what really got me into this book. And we found out that the representative of the Hand that taught her everything that she knew about being part of the Hand was very manipulative. And by the time we get to the end of this issue, she brings her to a point in her past for some type of reason. And Elektra is like, why is she bringing me here? I have no idea. And then what happens is she winds up finding herself face to face with the last person I ever expected, and it was Kraven the Hunter. I'm like, whoa, where does Kraven the Hunter and all this fit in, right? So very intriguing comic book, but what this book did is it fleshed out the character for me a little bit more. You know, I knew of Elektra. I wasn't never a huge fan of her. You know, I just knew her as like a kick-ass character, and this just gave her a little bit more depth. And she met with an old, you know, colleague of hers in college, and it just brought you back to her previous life and things that she went through, and I appreciated that as a reader. So I would definitely recommend this book if you're looking for a good Daredevil book right now that replaces the main one or wants to kind of go side by side with Devil's Reign. All right, guys, so here is a book that is a must read. I mentioned this on my comic book covers of the week. I mentioned this on my top 10 most anticipated comics of the week last week to pick this up, and I'm going to say this again. You're going to want to pick up Reign issue 1. This is written by Joe Hill. Now, this book is very dark when you get towards the end of it. In the beginning of it, you wind up learning about our two main characters who are in love with each other, and they're going to be roommates. The artwork in this book is very bright in the beginning. I mean, it's just pretty nice. And some of the characters' facial expressions look a little creepy at first, you know, but then when this major event happens with this crazy rain, it just gets downright gruesome and outright just really dark. And I'm going to show you this real quick when they're experiencing this rain that's falling down. Like, look at the characters' eyes. Like, it's just creepy. So what was this book really about? You got to see a little bit about it. Obviously, it's about this rain. And so what happens is you get to see these two girls that are going to be living with each other. They're going to be roommates, and they haven't really expressed all their love for each other. And the main character says, I didn't realize how much I loved my significant other until she was gone. And you witnessed this event that happened, which was this rain, and this rain was like falling nails, and it basically killed everybody in the town. Not everybody, but mostly everybody, let's just say. It seemed like I think it said there was 16 deaths every second from this rain. And the way Joe Hill had his illustrator draw this rain and kill these people, again, was just super dark, super creepy, and you're just kind of left scratching your head at the end of this book going, huh, what now? Like, are these going to be these continued events and things like that? I don't know. It's still yet to be determined. But the way the book was written, it was narrated like the explanation from our main character of the event before it happened. Like, she was explaining, oh, I remember when the rain happened, and you know, this person was hiding underneath a chair, and the needles went through her legs, and you got to see all these characters and learn about them before the event happened, and then you saw the event, and then they all passed away. Just an excellent and well-written book. Guys, go out and buy this. I don't think you'll be disappointed. All right, guys, and the last book we're going to be talking about today is Robin&Batman issue 3, done by Jeff Lemire. This series has been nothing short but of phenomenal, right? It's such a well done book. It has this painted style of art, like a watercolor artwork, and you know, it's had its ups, it's had its downs between Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne getting along with each other. We've had a really good issue where we get to see, you know, Dick meet up with his future Teen Titan partners. It's been a really great ride. And in this issue, you wind up seeing Robin do the final battle against Killer Croc. And obviously, if you've read this series, Killer Croc holds Dick Grayson accountable for kind of like what has happened to him in the past. Like, the Graysons got all the glamour, the fame, and everything else, while, you know, Killer Croc was this freak, and no one paid attention to him, and they all laughed at him. And, you know, again, he wanted revenge for that, and he went after and tried to kill him. And in this issue, you just wind up seeing Robin prove himself that he doesn't have to be Batman. He can be his own person. He can fly. He can be that Robin. And it was so well told. I really enjoyed it. And what this book actually really proved at the end of the day is that Dick can also have a normal life, where in the beginning it was like, no, he's something completely different. He's a different person, and he's special. And at the end of the issue, you wind up seeing him be a normal kid with some friends, and I thought that was really, really cool, man. So this book was phenomenal. Once again, a great conclusion. I would have loved to see this be like kind of a maybe like a maxi series, to see more adventures of Robin and Batman work together. But this series really tugged at the heartstrings, and I appreciate it for what it was. Okay, so my favorite book so far out of the 6 I've read, and like I said, this could change by the time I get done reading all my books, but my favorite pick is Rain issue 1. The storytelling in that book was astronomical. I really enjoyed it. I loved how Joe Hill got you attached to these characters. You knew that they were going to die, but when you saw them go through their death, you're just like, oh my God, that's just like such torture, right? So well done. I definitely suggest, again, pick that book up. I don't know if there's something that could beat that book. So guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss any content from me. And speaking of content, I'll leave you my comic book day haul in case you missed it. And guys, keep buying, keep collecting, and most importantly, keep reading those comics. Guys, thank you so much. I'll see you real soon. Bye.